Hey there, killer enthusiasts and ASMR lovers. Tonight, I'd like to talk about America's earliest female serial killer. That would be Jane Toppan. Now, Jane was a nurse in Massachusetts in 1901 and eventually ended up confessing to up to 30 murders. Jane would use her profession as a nurse to gain access to morphine and other deadly drugs that she could use to poison her victims. Most of Jane's victims were patients that were in her care, but she did kill a foster sister and ended up killing a friend of hers from school. Now, the pattern of killing is not uncommon for people like Jane. Poisoners generally will start their experiments on people that they're close with, family and friends. Now, whether people like Jane choose to go into a healthcare profession due to their depraved and insatiable desire to kill people is debatable. The ultimate control over one's life or death would help lead you to a healthcare profession. Jane eventually told police that she wanted to be the most prolific female serial killer, stating that she wanted to have killed more men and women than anybody else alive. Jane was born Honora Kelly and had a very, very difficult childhood. Her mother passed away at the age of just 6 years old, and Jane's father took her and her sister and dumped them off at an orphanage. Jane would end up becoming an indentured servant to the Toppan family, where she would change her name to Jane and adopt the family's surname. Despite the idea that female serial killers kill predominantly for a gain of some kind, Jane did show tendencies of lust killing in her murders. She admitted to fondling her victims as she was killing them, and she gained an extreme sexual thrill from taking her victims to the brink of death, bringing them back only to murder them once they came back. The paraphernalia around control like this may have developed during Toppan's formative years as she was carted around to orphanage and orphanage. A lot of the times children like this have no sense of stability and also have other predispositions that help to develop these paraphalias. As they near puberty, they'll start to like the powerful feeling of control with sexual arousal. Because of this, a lot of these killers will develop these deep paraphalias. Now, paraphalias are disorders that occur when people have a recurrent, intense, sexually arousing fantasy or behavior. That urge becomes distressing and disabling. Paraphalias usually involve inanimate objects, non-consenting adults, children, or behavior that seems outside of social norms. Paraphalias are different from ordinary fetishes as they are intense, persistent, and often cause harm to the person that is on the receiving end of experiencing these paraphalias. Paraphalic disorders often develop during childhood, and there even is evidence to suggest that certain conditions during development in the womb may contribute to a likelihood of developing these feelings. There are dozens of different paraphalias, including exhibitionism, pedophilia, voyeurism, sexual sadism disorder, and pyromania. Many serial killers have presented with specific paraphalias, especially bondage and sadism related. Albert DeSalvo, who was known as the Boston Strangler, and we'll cover him in another video, had particularly brutal paraphilia for his victims. His crimes focused on his particularly brutal urge to violate his victims with foreign objects being inserted into the body, usually a female. So, we'll get into some of these more disturbing killers who have extreme paraphilias in another video. If that is something that we're interested in doing, I can definitely make it a very long video, just soft spoken,